let's compare the iPhone SE 2 against the 2022 iPhone SE 3. Welcome everybody to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and you can find me on Twitter at Andrew_OSU. If you haven't done so already, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, and smash that notification icon so you don't miss any videos. Here, I'm specifically going to be talking about the iPhone SE 2 and comparing it against the third generation 2022 iPhone SE 3. There are a few changes to note and a $30 price hike. Let's see what that's all about in this video. Starting off, of course, we need to talk about the design of these two phones. The third generation 2022 iPhone SE doesn't really change much from the second generation iPhone SE. It has pretty much the exact same design, except it comes in a few new colors. It still has a 4.7-inch LCD on the front that's boxed in with borders on the top and the bottom. It has an iPhone 8 design that's been around for many years now, and for some, it's looking a little bit tired. The new colors include Starlight and Midnight that replace silver and black on the second generation iPhone SE. And like the second generation SE, it comes in a product red variation. The iPhone SE still uses Touch ID rather than Face ID. For some, that's a lot better, and it means it retains the home button on the bottom of the phone. If we compare it to the iPhone 13 or iPhone 13 mini, you can definitely see a difference in the design, including the adoption of Face ID and that edge-to-edge display. But that's another video. Here, we're specifically talking second generation iPhone SE to third generation, so the design, it really hasn't changed. Even the cameras are the same. Apple still has a 7-megapixel camera on the front and a 12-megapixel camera on the back. But Apple does have some new features coming to these cameras. See, Apple added the new A15 Bionic processor on the inside, replacing the A13 Bionic processor. And in the process, it got a new Apple-designed ISP, and that image signal processor gives a boost to both the front and rear-facing cameras. Apple's now brought new features that we first saw with the iPhone 13 series, including photographic styles. There's also Smart HDR4 on that rear-facing camera. Not to mention, the front and back camera also support Deep Fusion. On the front-facing camera, we do have support for Smart HDR4, as well as time-lapse stabilization and night mode time-lapse. There are 3 internal changes Apple made to the third generation iPhone SE. The first, as I already mentioned, is the new A15 Bionic processor. If we look at the performance of those inside of Geekbench, our new iPhone SE 3 scored a 1744 and a 4315, whereas the last generation, second gen iPhone SE scored a 1334 and a 3305. So quite a bit of a difference in both the single and multi-core tests on that new A15 Bionic processor. That new processor also helps with battery life, and that's the second change. Apple did include a larger battery in the new iPhone SE, but it also is helped by the improved performance of that A15 Bionic processor that has better power management. Because of that, you can expect a bit better battery life on the third generation iPhone SE. It goes from now 13 to 15 hours of video playback time. It's not a huge jump, but the iPhone SE 2 really had a problem with battery life, so any gains here are going to be welcomed. The third internal change was that Apple added support for 5G. The iPhone SE 3 still has advanced LTE, but it now has support for sub-6 GHz 5G. That isn't the same as the millimeter wave 5G that's also found in Apple's high-end devices, but hey, it's still support for 5G on Apple's lowest cost phone, which is what makes the iPhone SE 3 such a good device. It doesn't have the best battery life and still has the same design, but Apple managed to put its most powerful chip and 5G and improved battery life and improved cameras in this tiny little phone. At only $429, it is by far Apple's cheapest device and has some decent upgrades over the last generation. And the people who are looking for this device, those are the things that matter. Apple didn't overspec this thing with other stuff, but you know that when you buy an iPhone SE, it is going to last for many years to come thanks to that A15 Bionic processor. This is the same chip that is in Apple's most high-end phones, and it's available for only around $400, and in most cases, probably free with some sort of carrier deal. By the way, speaking of carrier deals, if you do want to grab an iPhone SE 3 or find an outdated iPhone SE 2, there are links for these guys down below in the description. We've started gathering up deals from the best carriers around the US. Let me know what you think on Twitter at Andrew_OSU, and stay tuned. I got more videos heading your way.